Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Subscribe, comment, and like without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Aquarius. Aquarius, we have already got jumpers for your overlying and underlying energy. As soon as these energy oracle cards come out, we'll show you what came out for the overlying and underlying energies for you. You did get one card each of the Akashic Tarot for overlying and underlying energies, and then for the Universal Law deck, you got two overlying energies and one underlying energy. So as soon as these come out, hopefully they jump. We had to pull the last ones. I'm kind of seeing something that I kind of sort of feel isn't on the table. So I would like to get these cards to come out before I speak on what I'm actually seeing. Most of the time it is what I'm seeing, but there's only a couple cards that could come out of this deck to like tell that story. So I would prefer jumpers. I don't want to have to pull them, but we will. We'll just do what we need to do. We've been having to pull today, so sometimes the energies are a little stubborn. There's a lot of moon stuff coming out. So even though we're pulling cards and cards are jumping, they're telling us that things are not seen. They're not able to be seen. They're not finished yet. They're cooking. That's why you can't see it. See, Libra got this card. If they're going to keep getting duplicates, I'd rather have them come out by themselves, right? Well, it makes sense from your overlying energy here. That's the temple path. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is what I thought it was. All right. Yeah. Okay. I would like at least 3 more cards from the energy oracle. If 3 more cards don't come out, okay. Ooh. Wow. Well, we got 3 more. Okay. Yes. Okay. Right. This is why I'm glad I didn't pull, Aquarius. Okay. We'll talk about these in a minute. We'll just go over the overlying and underlying. Yeah. All right. So for the Akashic deck, I've been kind of doing this different ways. Sometimes I show both Akashic cards. Sometimes I show overlying and underlying. We're going to show overlying and underlying on this one. So the overlying energy, that first card that came out from the Akashic deck was Archangel Michael. It's a major arcana card number 9, right? So this card, basically what I'm picking up from this card, which is kind of like what I've picked up from it before, is courage, force, initiative, and action. So this is kind of like, this is like the persona of you. It might be an unrealized you. You might not think of yourself as having courage or initiative, or maybe not doing too much action, but this card is your overlying energy. So I always say, if it's not you, it's someone who's coming towards you. It doesn't have to be a man or a woman. It could be anyone, but the idea is the energy that's behind it. This is a protector, right? So then we have the law of intention, give up complaining. Somebody got this before, right? So this is overlying energy as well. Give up complaining. And then the law of love, your heart knows no bounds. This has not come out, okay? So you got the law of love on the table. And then, so that's all your overlying energy. Underlying energy. So this is Caught in the Ruins from the Akashic deck, right? These cards can be a little bit dark, but basically with these, there's these people, pretty much they're inside what I call a self-imposed prison. There's bars and everything around them. There's a structure around them, but there's no ceiling. So the idea behind Caught in the Ruins is, you know, have you been sitting there long enough? Could you just climb out, kind of a thing, right? Sometimes there's something holding us there, right? So this, in your underlying energy, is the law of harmony from the Universal Law Tarot, the Universal Law Oracle. It says, dissolve all discordance and chaos. And this card has come out before, okay? So we have discordance and chaos coming out, and we're in a self-imposed prison. Okay, so this is the underlying energy. The overlying energy is that, you know, we have this, like, this epitome of action, and our intention and our love behind us, right? Regardless of what we're going through or what we're trying to use to get through it, right? So law of love, and then fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael. So we got our heart on the table. We have our heart on the table. Broken heart. I'm going to put that over here. And then, oh, I didn't even see this card. So financial constraints. And this is the card I saw, Temple Path. So a spiritual awakening, which makes sense with Archangel Michael on the table. And even if you didn't say, well, spiritual awakening, this is the Healer of the Ages or my Lightworker card. So special in some way, spiritual awakening to the point where there's something special going on here. And then we have the World card, which is usually what we're going towards. And this card is everything. It's everything you could want. So let's figure out what's happening here. See, okay, so before I pulled the energy oracle, what I was just picking up from the 5 cards that were sitting on the table was that, like, you're fine. What you bring, if this is a relationship or a situation, what you bring is fine. I mean, it may not be 100% balanced. You're not necessarily perfect, but you come into situations with your heart and love, right? You understand what your intention is. It's you purposely use your intention to do the things that you do in life. You don't use your intention to, like, you know, react or any of that chaotic type of responses when you're trying to create. You're very conscious. You know, maybe you're aware that you're on a spiritual awakening. Maybe you aren't. We're all on a spiritual awakening. And then we have the world. So I'd like to see what Alice has to say. Alice usually kind of tells us, like, what the broken heart came from or how we perceived the situation or what we should do to get out of it. So, because we're still in this prison. We have a broken heart, prison, and financial constraints. Now, the financial constraints could be the prison, but the prison could be anything. You know, it just says chaos, right? I always describe chaos as a bad relationship. I always describe chaos as that relationship that never calms down, right? And yes, those types of relationships do break our heart because we keep sitting in something with somebody hoping that we'll get the world, you know, giving them chances, thinking that, you know, they're just having a bad day. And then, you know, later on, we don't care if they're having a bad decade. We just want out. Walking away isn't on the table, but it's been coming out. Curiouser and Curiouser. So that's my card of, like, it's actually a card that usually what I pick up off of this card is weirdness. It's discovery, inquiry, weirdness, curiosity. What's that? Such a curious dream. Both of these cards came out for another sign. Usually that denotes being out of the bad thing, this thing over here. There could be lingering stuff, like, you know, lingering financial constraints, or maybe our money's fine, but we're still imprisoned by something. Maybe the heart isn't, you know, broken anymore, but we're still in some kind of, like, chaos. Discordance. One more time. I would like one more card from this, at least one. If I have to pull, I'm pulling two. Yeah, okay. I'll pull 2. Oh, okay. Let's go through the ones that fell out. So, Curiouser and Curiouser. Discovery, inquiry, weirdness, curiosity. I'm taking this as weirdness. It might be discovery. You might be trying to figure out what's going on. Usually this card is the more we research what's going on, the weirder it gets. And then we have such a curious dream, grounding, returning to reality, coming home. So this card came out a little different than it usually does in the last reading, and there's still, like, a hint of that energy here. This card came out, such a curious dream, is like returning home. These people were, like, evolving, and it wasn't that they were evolving into something new, it was that they're remembering who they were, right? I feel the same for you right now, Aquarius, with the way this is coming out. Like, you might have been in a situation where there was, like, discordance and chaos, but remember, you came with your intention and love. And love wasn't necessarily the intention. You came with both. You have both cards on the table. So you didn't only just come with love, you came with your intention, which is a bunch of other different stuff. And when I was going to say when the shit hit the fan, whatever happened, or that turning point, you kind of remembered, even just a little bit, who you were. You kind of either recognized that you didn't want to submit to the chaos, or that you could just climb out. You didn't have to sit in prison with anyone, or that if you did something different, you wouldn't have the financial constraints anymore, or it didn't even really matter what the weirdness was, you want out, kind of a thing. Again, walking away, not on the table, but I see it. And then this one is uncertainty. Choose when you will, choose what you will, choose who you will become. Sorry. I should know these by now. Choose who you will become. So a lot of times this is part of the act of choosing. When we either don't have much of an identity, or somebody tries to tell us who our identity is, sometimes it causes us to kind of look at the situation and say, who am I? And if we don't like what we see, we can choose to be someone else. Everybody does it. I mean, at some point they do it. They either pretend to do it, or some people will just totally change their lives and do it for real. They'll move to a different state, change their name, behave differently. If that's what they want to do, they can do that. That's reinventing yourself. Anybody can do it, right? So you have follow your own good advice, which is trust yourself. You know what is best for you. Again, not necessarily listening to others. There's not anything sinister being said here on the table, but you're in this prison. You have financial constraints. Your heart is broken, and you've got discordance and chaos plus weirdness. And then the law is not justice card. Rules that are not fair. Again, I feel like this is the walking away card. When you come with integrity, with your intention, with your love, when you come with a bunch of stuff and all you get is this, after a while, like I said, it doesn't matter what the weirdness is. It becomes, you want to move out. When you realize that you cannot win. I mean, there's so many ways that this card could be picked up, and they still have me being general, which is interesting. Even when you're supposed to come out ahead in the situation, you don't. Someone else is always getting away with something, and they're not even trying that hard to perpetuate it, and you're stuck. You keep getting stuck by by what they're doing, or you remain stuck by what they're doing, which to you is the same thing. It's the same four walls. To the point where sometimes you even look around and you go, how do they do that? How do they brainwash everybody around them? And you're standing there and like, how did they get everybody to put me in this prison? I mean, sometimes it's like that. That's why the law of harmony is on the table. There's more people in the mix, there should be harmony. Sometimes more people in the mix, makes an army. You're in this relationship, that person has an army. What the hell? For some reason, my notion is to tell you that you are your own army, Aquarius. A lot of times, law is not justice is kind of telling me that the situation just straight up is not fair. And a lot of times the situation seems like it's bigger than us, but it's not. You have all this integrity on the table. I'm going to go through this one more time, and then I'm going to pull 3. You have all this integrity on the table and stuff you bring. If it doesn't account for anything with anybody else, if they're leaving you uncertain as to who you are or why you're there, walking away is on the table. If all they can bring is a broken heart, and financial constraints and chaos and discordance. So you have Be Real, full moon in Aquarius, you showing up in your own reading, talking about seeing things for how they are, realizing who's bringing what and it's not you, right? That's full moon. This is new moon in Scorpio, go deeper. And then we have last quarter moon in Virgo, attend to the details. Attend to the details. I don't think you need, I mean, it does say to go deeper. Somebody else got that card too. Yeah, and if it wasn't this card, it was like, see the bigger picture. Like I've been telling everybody to look at the details and then look at the bigger picture. Don't just look at one aspect of it and say that person did this and they got this. They might have gotten a lot more than you think. If you look at the whole situation, you can see it for what it is. You can realize what they get out of it. People don't bring all this weirdness just to get one thing from you. I can't even see that one thing. I mean, we have love on the table. You might have just been really like unconditionally loving and the person just soaked that up, right? Of course, we have our intention too. So we might have come in here with the tools to have a good relationship. So then now we're like compensating for someone else, you know, especially in matters of the heart, because they don't know how to act. Meanwhile, our spiritual awakening is on the table. We've either had it or we're going to have it. So we can totally see what's going on, and we can also see what we're missing, right? This one is telling you to follow your own advice. This uncertainty that's happening right now, yeah, sure, it could be you. If you're in a spiritual awakening, you could be uncertain about where you are. But if this other person is bringing the uncertainty in any way, shape, or form, I don't care if it's a situation you don't understand what's happening, or they're making you uncertain about how you feel about yourself or who you are, whatever the situation is, again, to be real with yourself and realize that the support is not there, and to walk away. Follow your own good advice, right? Yes, go deeper is on the table, and attend to the details. So it's like go deeper twice. Yeah. I mean, the moon isn't on the table. It's been on the table. The world is on the table. You should be able to see what's going on. If you can't, it might be because either there's like a coping mechanism involved where it gets to the point where you have to be somebody that you're not to actually accept this kind of behavior, and then you're not allowing yourself to see it because either you're so used to chaos or you're trying not to, like, you know, again, look in it too deeply because you don't really want to see the weirdness. The problem is that even if you did that for any kind of period of time, extended or not, this would eventually hit you in the forehead. This law is not justice card, because you would think that somebody's being like playing by the rules the entire time you're playing by the rules, but then you'll realize later on that they're not. You know, discordance and chaos, it kind of, to me, it tells me that there's a little bit more monkey business than there needs to be. Harmony. Sometimes we think we want peace. Sometimes we think we want harmony. I think we want both, right? Peace is like, you know, you could have peace with others, but peace is almost like you being left alone, right? Harmony is like you having peace with someone else, right? Someone else is in on this. Someone else has locked the gate while you've been inside this thing. Someone else did this. I don't see you doing this to yourself. If you're doing this to yourself, then you're perpetuating someone else's mistake. You haven't realized yet that this is not for you. But I mean, again, if you're this person, I don't see how you wouldn't, right? If you're not this person could be coming towards you. If you don't identify with the you know, the action, the courage, the initiative of Archangel Michael, if you don't identify with like spiritual awakening or, you know, being a healer or a light worker, you know, we still have this angel on the table. You could be an empath. It's possible. Maybe you're uncertain about what it is that if you found this channel, you're something. The very least, you need to figure out what your boundaries are and then set them. The throat's not on the table. But again, when our heart's on the table, it's the same thing. We're conveying what we want in our heart towards others so that they'll treat us the way we want to be treated, right? We go into this thing wholeheartedly. I keep saying it. This is the other reason why you find my channel, because you're not the one that plays games. We go into this wholeheartedly. We go into it with our whole heart, and we go into it with love, right? And then we're met with this, sometimes on purpose. And we're trying to cater to this because we think this person is, you know, in it with us, like they want to flourish. But all they're doing is, you know, throwing blocks into the situation. And it's not just your relationship, it's your life, right? Aquarius, I want to see what the blind spot is. I want to see what's keeping us from seeing what's going on, or you know, maybe get some kind of idea of, you know, again, what we can't see. Because the moon isn't on the table, but I feel like the moon is on the table. Walking away is on the table. Be curious to see what comes out in these cards. So yeah, we're ready to pull the blind spot. Aquarius, if this is your reading, meet us over at the extended. If not, until we meet again,